Under a Marxist socialist system, you're incentivized to either run for political office, get as much power as you possibly can, to try to extract money away from people that don't have it.
What about cooperatives? I don't understand. There's multiple different ways to do this.
Do that voluntarily. Go do what the Amish do. Go live in northern New York. In America, we have people that live in cooperatives today. Don't tell me how to live my life. You can live your life however you want to.
It's just, look,
the big difference and distinction is that it's impossible to live as a capitalist in a socialist country. You can live as a socialist in a capitalist country.
It's impossible to have capitalism without socialism. You could never.
How's that?
You could never implement capitalism without public roads, without the infrastructure necessary to bring private industry. What the hell are you talking about? And famine under our current global capitalist structure.
Whose individual fault is it?
Yeah. Why is it with the system when it comes to communism, but it's actually
go from 40 years to 80 years in America for women and 76 years for women.
You're not answering my
Global
question.
poverty is at its all-time low than it ever has been. It's
you're not
dropped below 10%.
You're not answering my question. You're not answering. You're talking about something
There's not a
completely
singular
different.
person why individuals might die, unfortunately. However, what's going to stop that?
It's unfortunate when they die.
Well, yes, yes, Hasan. Death is unfortunate.
Yeah.
Marxism has killed more people than any other ideology over the last 100 years.
Okay. Thank you for those words.
You're welcome.
When 100 million people die under a communist dictatorship, and some of those millions are also Nazis, which is included there, whatever, you blame communism.
The National Socialist Workers Party?
Or to explain it to
is
you?
Cuba not socialist? Is North Korea not socialist? Was Vietnam not socialist? Was Zimbabwe not socialist? You can laugh all you want, Hasan,
okay, do you
but
want
100 million people died under socialism the last 100 years, and you have the gumption to continue. You can keep laughing to the victims' families from Cuba, from Venezuela, from Korea, from Vietnam, from Mao's China, from Stalin's Russia. The number one killer of citizens, from innocent civilians in the last 100 years, has been the very idea that you shamelessly wear on your sleeve every single day. Marxism has killed more people than any other ideology over the last 100 years. So Hasan, why don't you give 95% of your money away and go live on a commune?
Do you really think that that's how it works? Do you really think that's how it works?
Go live what you preach. Because every single day, you talked uninterrupted for 5 minutes. Hasan, let me finish.
Go ahead. Sorry, you're right.
I live what I practice. I'm a free market capitalist. I employ people. I took a risk. I have my own startup business. Every single day, I practice what I preach. He wants other people to contribute to what he considers to be a good idea, what he considers will make the world a better place. That you have the freedom to go live as a socialist. Go do it, Hasan. What's stopping you?
Okay. Right. So here's why this is ridiculous. And the last point. The last point I will make is this. Here's why that conversation is absolutely preposterous. If I gave away the measly earnings that I had and gave away 95% of that,
how much do you make,
that wouldn't necessarily even push the needle. I will be very honest. It's really embarrassing, especially because my boss is sitting right there. I make $60,000 a year, okay?
He's got to stop lying. He has to stop lying. There's no way he makes 60,000. And that's not a measly salary. How out of touch do you have to be to think that 60,000 is a measly salary? Most people aren't making 60,000, and he definitely is making more than 60,000. They always want other people to implement their ideas for them. They always want someone else to go first. They never want to do it themselves. Hi guys, if you're enjoying this video, don't forget to like and subscribe. And check out my channel for content just like this.
Hasan says, well, I don't want to take your worker earnings away. I want to go after your employer, essentially to make sure. I don't have the right to tell anybody what to do with any of their money. That's the big difference, Hasan, is that you're trying to
It's their money, Charlie. It's the workers' money. They are just taking away and accumulating the profits for themselves. I'm not, and by the way, I'm not even saying abolish all profit.
This is a distinctly Marxist argument, by the way.
Just because it's Marxist doesn't mean it's a bad idea. Stop being an idiot, dude. God damn it. Like...
Oh, okay, so I'm so glad you mentioned that. So
it's so silly, like as if we implement socialized medicine, we're going to eat rats like Venezuela.
I didn't say it was bad. I said it was Marxist, and now I'm going to tell you why it's bad.
Oh, okay.
The problem with the Marxist argument is the incentive structure. In a free market system, incentives, everybody is incentive to create value, get a job, or take a risk and employ people. Under a Marxist socialist system, you're incentivized to either run for political office, get as much power as you possibly can, to try to extract money away from people that don't have it.
What about cooperatives? I don't understand. There's multiple different ways to do this.
Do that voluntarily. Go do what the Amish do. Go live in northern New York. In America, we have people that live in cooperatives today. Don't tell me how to live my life. You can live your life however you want to.
It's just, look,
the big difference and distinction is that it's impossible to live as a capitalist in a socialist country. You can live as a socialist in a capitalist country.
It's impossible to have capitalism without socialism. You could never.
How's that?
You could never implement capitalism without public roads, without the infrastructure necessary to bring private industry. What the hell are you talking about? You can live in a socialist country. It won't be great. So if it's a fully socialist country, I don't think we've been able to figure that out yet.
This whole democratize the enterprise idea. Your individual job is only one piece of the puzzle that generates the revenue. You didn't invest capital, you didn't take any risk, and there's no downside for you because you can just leave if the company goes down. Go build your worker-owned co-op. Go do that, where you guys spread the money evenly, but don't sign up for a job and get mad at the revenue distribution. Yes, in order for an employer to justify hiring you, there has to be a reasonable expectation that they will make more from you than you make from them.
So I'm not even saying that a fully socialist country will be great, but you have never ever lived in a fully capitalist country.
You pay tolls? You pay tolls?
So that's it? That they're
financing?
That's a
user fee. That's not socialism.
Oh,
that's if you use the highway, you pay for the highway.
Highways are
you pay
not
a gas tax.
Okay,
you pay a gas tax. So
yeah.
if you drive a car, you pay into the highway fund.
Yeah, you're
That's
right.
how it works, Hasan.
You're right. Socialism is just what you want it to be, and not what it actually is. You're right. Never mind.
A program that will not benefit you to send the money to someone else that is in a different socioeconomic circumstance. Free market capitalism is the greatest wealth-creating engine in human history. It's lifted more people out of poverty, and you are a beneficiary of the very system that you are bashing right now.
No, because it's not free market capitalism. It's so stupid.
Look, when you factor in human nature, the best system, in my opinion, is capitalism. All these other systems sound great, but human nature is such that they would turn into complete doo-doo, complete shit. Capitalism works because it accounts for human nature. It is literally giving everyone the opportunity to compete. Of course, there needs to be some safeguards, but for the most part, it is the most stable system when you factor in humans, greed, corruption, tyranny. Capitalism provides an effective safeguard against those things. Socialism sounds great in a family, but when you live in large communities of people with varying interests who don't align, capitalism makes the most sense.
I don't care about authoritarianism. Obviously, I'm not an authoritarian. I don't like our current almost proto-fascist government right now. All right.
Wow. Okay. Can I say?
Go ahead.
So
go ahead.
Here's something, Hasan, just so the audience can distill this. I don't trust the government. Therefore, why make the government bigger? Hasan says he doesn't trust the government, and he wants to make government bigger. He says, "Oh, the government is." This is Hasan. The government is largely bought by lobby.
Literally doing a "This is Hasan" right now. Do you think you sound intelligent?
Can I summarize what you're saying?
Okay, go ahead.
We agreed that lobbyists have too much access to this government. You want to make that government bigger, stronger, more powerful. I want to make that government smaller and more accountable to the citizens. That's a huge difference between conservatives and progressives. Let's bring it back domestically then. Why is it the most murderous, hopeless, and poor cities in America are all run by Democrats?
What? What does that have to do with anything? Yeah, okay. Yeah, they're bad. What do you want me to say? Okay, sure.
Well, because your very policies are put on trial in Philadelphia and Chicago and Oakland,
like Rahm Emanuel, the big socialist who said
Milwaukee.
Chicago needed socialized medicine and that's why there's gun violence.
Chicago's
Chicago's
already entertaining universal basic income, of which you support. They're entertaining
so you're saying they premeditatedly are having a lot of violence because they're going to implement universal basic income?
Well, they also have the strictest gun laws in the country,
please,
but
one time.
you're a big fan of those too.
Please make a good argument one time.
No, can you answer the question though? Why is it that the most murderous?
Some of those Democrats are bad. What do you want me to say?
Well, maybe the ideas are bad, Hasan, and maybe the ideas don't work.
But what are the ideas? Like, do you
the
really?
The ideas are high
but
tax,
they're not implementing socialist principles.
Limiting government freedom. Not investing, not allowing entrepreneurs.
Name one socialist principle that Rahm Emanuel has tried to implement in Chicago.
The strictest gun laws in the country. Let's start with that. The fact that he doesn't allow school choice. The fact that he cracks down on the voucher system in Chicago. The fact that Chicago has the highest property taxes in the country. The fact that Chicago just instituted income tax. These are all quote-unquote progressive ideas. Chicago is more bankrupt,
Are you against
hopeless.
all taxation? Can we just get this out of the way?
No, I think we should have lower taxes. And thanks to Donald Trump, we have the lowest tax rate in 60 years.
Give me
free market capitalism. The fact that we have abundance in light, air conditioning. The fact that we have more food that we throw away every single year than we actually eat. The fact
Wait,
that in the Western
you
world...
think that's a good thing? You think that our waste is a good thing, dude?
We have an abundance problem in the West, not a scarcity problem.
Yeah.
In Venezuela, the average Venezuelan has lost 17 pounds. Oh, yes? 4,000% inflation. Yes. Brink on the Civil War.
Venezuela,
yes.
the only socialist country on the planet, everybody.
Yes. The fact they have 42% unemployment. Yes. The fact that Maduro continues to exploit his citizens around the lies of Karl Marx. Yes. Is that what we're talking about, Hasan?
Yes. I love that you think you owned... Oh, my God.
Most people who claim to be socialists are not that in their real life, or they're very broke. When you're broke, hell yeah, everyone, let's distribute. Let's evenly distribute this wealth. Then when you start making money and building things, suddenly it's like, whoa.
Like I said, Venezuela has virtually the same Venezuela has socialized its extraction industries, which is why it is extremely comparable to a Nordic country like Norway. If socialism successfully is implemented, or at least social democracies are successfully implemented in countries like Norway, then some countries fail because they're corrupt, or because of currency mismanagement, or because of a variety of different reasons, like the IMF or American sanctions, or even backing military coups in the country, which Donald Trump, apparently the world leader in peace, is toying around with, as if that has worked ever in Latin American countries or anywhere worldwide. Like, there are a multitude of different reasons why socialism or a more robust social state has not worked in Venezuela, but it obviously has been successful in other countries.
Like Zimbabwe, Cuba, Vietnam,
as though
North
that's
Korea,
the only reason.
Former Bulgaria, former Belarus,
Charlie,
East Germany, Soviet Union. Those were great test cases
Charlie,
for socialism, right?
I'm glad that you know countries. I'm glad that you are demonstrating that despite our public education system, you are still knowledgeable on different countries. Stop naming countries and let me finish, okay? All right.
So how do you get things to cost less? Competition, which is inherent in a free market.
Regulation.
Raises prices. Regulation prices out middle-class consumers. Regulation is a tool used by corporations to go after small business owners. It's different when you have a good idea versus buying lobbyists, sending them to D.C., saying, put all these rules and regulations that I can afford, but the entrepreneur from Silicon Valley that has a 5-person company can...
The solution is not regulation. The solution is to reduce regulation and get government out of the way. That is always the solution. The government is corrupt, it's captured. So regulation is effectively anti-competition.
Second of all, ironically, Donald Trump is making the world a safer place. The Korean War is ending thanks to Donald Trump. ISIS is on the run and being destroyed.
What does this have to do with us lying to our veterans that we were going to take care of them and then letting them be homeless on the streets,
which is socialized medicine? The Veterans Administration, which is socialized medicine, does a disservice. You advocate for socialized medicine. I do not want the rest of the country.
I'm not saying the VA is good. I'm saying that it's underfunded.
That our veterans have to.
You're using that as a tool to just attack socialism,
a piece of evidence.
Medicine.
It's called evidence.
This works in every other country that has tried to do this. This works. The system absolutely works.
How does the Cuban healthcare system work?
The Cuban healthcare
system.
The Cuban healthcare system? Oh, you mean the country where they're on the verge of solving AIDS and a multitude of different cancer research? Like, what are you talking about?
Where their life expectancy is 15 years, less than the United States, where they have widespread starvation, where they lock up political dissidents. Why do people flee Havana, Cuba for Miami, Florida?
I don't know. Maybe our sanctions have something to do with it.
For Havana, Cuba.
And assume that this is just a consequence of free market capitalism. Well, let's talk. Yeah, no, it's actually unicorns, dude. Unicorns are giving us magically the
Hasan, answer me a question.
If we're going to lie about this stuff, then we might as well just go all the way out.
Does insurance cover LASIK?
Does insurance
cover LASIK?
What does that have to do with anything?
Because when you don't have the insurance lobby within the negotiating of prices, then the consumer knows exactly what everything costs.
Are you going to?
The reason why healthcare costs so much in this country, you go into a hospital, no one knows what anything costs. No one knows what anything costs for how long you stay there, for how long the procedure is. A key component of a market is pricing.
Yeah.
The problem with the system we have now,
and we live in a country that is virtually the only country on the planet that does not negotiate drug prices. Even Donald Trump said he was going to do this, and he's failed to deliver on that promise, among many other promises, like he was going to solve the economy, or that he was going to bring about world peace. Like, this is preposterous to assume that, like, insurance, you could just unjustifiably just throw out a claim without expecting me to, I can't even talk, holy shit, refute it. When you say, when you make this ridiculous assertion that insurance companies are actually decreasing prices when it's not the government
no, they're
who
not.
should be regulating
Hasan,
that.
I asked a very specific question.
What?
LASIK eye surgery
But then you
not covered by insurance.
Okay.
Consumers went straight to the doctor, so they knew how much it cost. Therefore, prices went down, quality went up, and accessibility went outward. That's what happens when a market is allowed to exist.